On top of that, I've been doing Tarkov.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I know Neo wanted to talk about Tarkov as well because
I've heard a lot about it, but not from the man who loves it the most.
Yeah, it's funny. I was re-listening to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So I watched you guys last week, and then I was re-listening to the podcast on the way home from work, and you were like, I'm getting the itch to get Tarkov, and I was like, yeah, you are.
Yeah,
you are. So I saw that Neo, he said it in the Discord that he bought it, so we teamed up the other night.
Really ticked off. I bought it, and then it went on sale.
I know. I'm
3
so
days
sorry.
later.
Yeah,
I
20%.
waited so long too, and I was like,
20%.
I'll just do it. And I looked if I could return and
you can't do it.
No, they're no.
The only thing that you could do would be that if there's another sale and we really get into it even more,
get the upgrade.
Get the upgrade, because I was gonna get the upgrade with the 20% off, but I was like, I'm still not playing it like a lot to invest in the extra space and stuff like that, so I didn't do the upgrade yet.
What does the upgrade get you?
Storage.
So the biggest thing is your stash, your hideout, like how much stuff you can store, because when you leave a raid, when you loot inside of a raid, how much do you know about Tarkov?
I know that you go in, there are people in there that look like the enemy, and then there are people who are actually the enemy, NPCs that are the other way around. There's players that look like NPCs, and then NPCs are also there, and everything's a threat.
Correct. Yeah, so
and then when you die, you lose all the shit that you have on you.
Right, exactly. So if you make it out of a raid with a bunch of loot, that loot has to go somewhere. Because if you just hit continue, you lose all of it as well. You have to move the loot from your person to your stash.
A lot of manual management that occurs.
It's Tetris, really.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
I do it in
storage Tetris.
Oh, I spent 35 minutes last night, trying to go to sleep. Like I was so ready to go to bed, but I was like, this doesn't look right. I need to reorganize
That's
this.
how I am in Fallout every day.
So the biggest thing is stash space, right? So you have a very limited amount of room when you buy the base game.
This is very familiar to me.
Right. So if you buy the higher edition, you get significantly more space.
Which I did.
Right. So that's one. The other thing is they start you off with more in-game money.
But it's not unlimited space.
It is not unlimited. No. Well, that would be too much. That'd be too easy.
Over in Fallout, we got the sweet limited space, unlimited space.
So that's the biggest thing. And the other stuff like that is I think you start off with better standing with the in-game traders. You get more money to start off. They give you better weapons to start off, because each package you get a certain amount of loot to start. Because if they didn't give you anything, no one would ever be able to survive. So they give you stuff to start. So I'll probably eventually do the Edge of Darkness edition, and that also gives you like everything for when the game hits 1.0. So if it ever hits 1.0, which it's only at 0.12 right now. Cool. If it ever hits 1.0, I think you get the full release of the game and all future DLCs. You're essentially, if you buy that edition, you're getting the game for its life.
That's good.
But yeah, so Neo and I hopped in there the other night. We've only played together one evening, but we played and we did a handful of raids. And I had a blast.
Yeah,
really? I had a blast. Yeah, man. Dude,
it felt a little
fun.
slow at first, but I guess I'm just ramping up, right?
Yeah, I mean it is going to be like you can't go in and play the game like any other shooter for a long ass time, and that's the biggest struggle is that like. Going in to start is really just trying to make it out alive. And if you make it out alive with any type of loot, you should be thankful that you made it out alive.
So as far as I understand from what we played, there's the two modes that we play, right? There's the raid mode and the scav mode.
Yeah, so to your point, there is two different ways that you can spawn into a raid. Right, so it's just called raids to spawn in and play the game.
Yeah, you're not talking about like
a Destiny raid.
Higher end game content.
No, there's only one game mode, and that's called raids.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. So you can spawn in as two different things. You can spawn in as a scav, which is the
where
AI character.
You're pretending to be AI.
Correct. And you spawn in with randomized loot. Sometimes that randomized loot is great. You can spawn with an awesome gun and some stuff in your pockets that's worth a lot of money. Sometimes you spawn in with just a pistol, which happened to me the other night.
Yeah,
we were playing.
We came in a game together. You had this like just pistol.
I had a pistol.
A scav raid?
Scav raid. Yeah. I had just a pistol.
No backpack, I think.
No backpack. So that means I have 4 pocket slots. And then I had a vest which has 6 slots. And the other thing is that the way that it works is some items are 1 square, some items are 2x2 squares, some items are 4x4,
so
right?
some won't fit in there at all.
No.
Some things you can't even pick up.
I can't pick up. So
makes sense.
Right. So it becomes, you're also on the fly trying to manage your inventory without dying.
Yeah, and I spawned in with like a high-end sniper rifle.
You spawned in with a full backpack, a full vest, a sniper rifle, and then so we're looting.
Got the God roll.
Essentially. So we're looting, and I'll open up this container. I'm like, oh, fuck, there's a lot of good shit in here. No, Neo, you gotta take it. You gotta take it all, Neo.
I was like, are you sure? I was like, I can't do anything.
I can't. It's either you take it or we leave it here for somebody else. Are
the environments of this game vertical?
No.
Yeah, not so much.
No. So there is no, because forget about it. It would be impossible to survive if people could be on roofs. If people were on a roof camping, forget it. You would never. You would.
Oh, okay.
It's very urban-y, foresty area.
Scavs can be on roofs. But you with the community-made maps, they will point out what roofs they're on, and they're known. The spawns never change. Scav spawns do not change, right? So like this is the map that we were playing. So all of those skull and crossbones are spawns of enemy AI.
You're gonna pull it up.
But it's different. How many spawn? Or
typically it's a couple. Typically it's a couple.
We did run into a bunch.
Now, can you? So people have said to me that when you're in scav mode, you look like a scav.
So there's no what. So okay, so that's scav really good. So let me fast forward a little bit. So you can spawn in as a scav once every 15 to 20 minutes. So there's a timer, so you can't keep spawning in because it's free loot, right? If when you go in as your character, what's called your PMC, your private military contractor.
Yeah.
When you go in, you have to go in with something, and if you die, you lose it. But that's something coming from your stash.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you want to go in with nothing and just hope you can survive. The problem is that when you go in as a scav, other scavs don't try and engage you. Meaning I could walk right next to an AI and it won't try and engage me. So it's much easier to survive because I'm only having to worry about other players.
Right.
When I go in as a PMC, everything tries to kill me.
Yeah.
All the AI and all the other people. So it's harder to survive as your PMC than it is to as a scav.
So naturally, like that would be like, okay, I'll just do scav missions. But what they do is they lock out scav missions every time you do one for like a time. They put it on a timer.
It's like 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So you do one and then you have to wait.
Correct. Or you go in as your PMC, right?
How many people just wait and just get the free loot and just keep waiting?
Well, that's what we were doing.
Did somebody create a computer software to just do it for them?
I don't know about all that. But what like Locke and I were doing when we were doing scav missions was Locke was like, we're going in, take out all the stuff you have, and we're getting out. We're going to the extraction points. And you have to check what extraction points you have because we could have different ones. And then there's those you can see like here, like they'll be named, get out of here. Those will be named like
so any of the green dots,
road to military base, passage between the rocks, like these things here.
And when you go up to that area, it gives you a 5-second countdown, and then you leave the raid.
Yeah.
But what the game does on purpose is your extraction point is always on the opposite end of the map. So they make you walk through the map, right? Like you can't just get lucky. So like if I spawn in the bottom left, which is called Trailer Park, it's never going to give me top left, which is Crossroads. It's going to give me something on the right side of the map.
Factory far corner.
Something. So I have to make it to the other side. Whether I engage people or not, or I just tiptoe my way across, I have to cross the map because I'm more likely to die. Right? Yeah. And what you can do is, what's really cool is you could use the scroll wheel on your mouse to slow your movement in real time.
By far the coolest thing.
Yeah.
By far and awesome.
So I can go from standard walking to if I scroll down on my mouse wheel, I literally slow down. So then I'm quieter because your character can get headphones. They're like headsets that amplify the sound significantly. I spawned in last night with my scav character who had a headphone on, and I haven't worn a pair of headphones in the game since I first gotten it, and the sound was so dramatically different. How much clearer everything was. which was really cool because if you walk over,
you'll be able to hear.
Oh, because everything's dynamic. If I walk over rocks or gravel,
Metal.
it sounds different. Metal sounds like I'm walking over metal. If I walk through trees, you can hear my character brushing up against the sticks and the leaves, and it sounds like I'm walking through trees, right? So every sound tips off somebody that may be nearby, waiting to kill you.
Wow.
So
I love that realism aspect of it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit. Yeah, I guess
Oh.
expand a little bit for me, for everyone listening. What you're.
I mean, it was just it was more of like a simulation game than anything. Just the way they try and present the whole thing to you. They want you to not run and gun it.
Correct.
It's far from Destiny. It's even far from Rainbow Six in some aspects.
Oh, for sure.
They really want you to, because with Felix, you have to load the bullets into the clips and then put them in the gun.
You mentioned that.
You have to manually do everything with your inventory, and then going in your inventory doesn't pause the game. Everything is happening in real time. You have to be smart with your choices. I like it when games make me think like that.
Yeah.
And they make me think like I have to be careful of the terrain I'm walking on. I can't just rush through this gate here because I don't know what's on the other side. I have to stop and listen. We have to like be careful with everything. And I really liked even like working with you. It was like a really good. Like even when I got we died sometimes, but like it was still really cool to play it like that.
It was very tactical and like we came up.
You guys said that you were working together. That's not based on an official squad.
It
game
is
mode.
actually.
We can group up. But so here's the
up.
other cool thing with this, which adds the level of communication. If we get separated, I have no idea that he's my teammate. There's no gamer tag over his head. There's nothing in game
that tells
me that that's my teammate.
Right. So you guys have to describe where you are.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or we constantly have to be near one another.
I liked our
right?
sign because you can like lean.
So there's this universal thing.
Like,
there's this universal like I'm a friendly that people try and follow, which is just rapidly leaning back left and right, left and right, left and right.
Your character goes like this.
So hitting Q and E
makes you stand out and look like a.
Well, you're just rocking back and forth. People. So if like you usually see it with scavs, right? So like because PMCs, if you cross somebody that's playing on their PMC, you could usually tell that it's a PMC because they look looted. You know, they got a big backpack on, they got a helmet on. Like scavs don't spawn in this way. So usually if you don't want to engage a PMC and you're trying to make it out, like you'll see scavs do that little rock back and forth, like please don't kill me. I'm not trying to engage you. I just really want to get out of this thing alive, and I've just crossed your path and I don't want to engage you. So we were doing that. Like we would get separated, and then I'd be like, Neo, where are you? And I would just sit there and waddle and wait for him to find me.
That's Locke. That's Locke.
There is an in-game thing where you can buy armbands. One of the traders sells multicolored armbands. So we'll go in and we'll be like, okay, we're going to choose green as our color, but it's literally just a green patch on your arm, which is almost impossible to actually see in practice.
Yeah,
right?
if you're like farther than like 50
There's a lot
yards
of
or whatever.
what we were looking at earlier. A lot of the maps are like low lit.
Well, so then there's times of day.
Times a day.
Right? So when you spawn in, you choose two options, which time of day you're going to spawn in. And if you spawn in the evening, like if you spawn in after sunset, it is pitch black.
And you're going to have a better chance of surviving because you can hide.
Well, not if there's somebody with a thermal sight, because then it works just like an actual thermal sight does, which is I am lit up like a Christmas tree walking across the map, right?
The guns are fully customizable as well.
Oh, yeah. You have a ton of ability to customize the guns. Yeah, I mean this game is the most in depth I've seen a shooter ever be.
It's not showing the UI. It's hard to see.
And I think I talked a little bit about it when we did the game of the year. But like your medicine has, like you have different medical devices for different things. You have splints for when you break bones. You have bandages for blood loss. You have painkillers to treat wounds. You have survival kits. If you lose a limb, you can use a survival kit to perform, on-the-fly surgery for yourself, which the animation is literally you opening up, taking up a pair of scissors and like doing and trying to like fix your arm because your arm's been killed. It's been
when people die as a scav, does the body stay there?
It does.
Yeah, it does.
So you have
For that session, yeah. I
right.
guess.
So it stays there. So then you have the ability. Do I want to try and loot this body that somebody else killed, or is the person still close? Are they not close? Looting is not fast, right? Like it takes time because what happens is when you click on a body and it brings up the menu, you then have to search the body. I can't see what's in the backpack unless I search the backpack.
You gotta identify each item.
So you have to then, it would actually be like what it would be like. I got to open up the backpack. I got to see what's in there, and then I got to move that stuff from that backpack to my backpack, right? It's not like I just click the body and then I just like
drag stuff over.
It takes a little bit more time, so you have to make the decision: is it worth doing? Is it worth looting? Right? When people when you get greedy, you die in this game, right? You have to be thankful for the stuff that you got. Unless you have so much money in the game where you can
preload with
and
a
spend.
bunch of
You're
shit.
right. So the biggest thing in this game, and it's what
Does the game allow you to pay to win by buying the currency?
No, you cannot buy the in-game currency.
Good.
But there is a flea market which you unlock at level 5, which allows you to sell to other people. So you can loot that you find, you can then sell on the flea market, and you can inflate
there's
the
an
prices
in-game
and
economy.
stuff like that.
I feel like an external economy, like a microtransaction system, would probably break this game.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Because people would pay to win for sure. And then the next thing that I'm trying to learn in this game is your ammo type, which is the biggest thing inside of this game. Because for each round are different ammo type, or different penetration levels, right? So the base ammo, which has a level 1 penetration, is the reason why, like, remember that dude that we tried to light up with our pistols, the scav that we were trying to light up? So me and Neo are crouching up this hill, and we see it. We know this guy's on the other end of this street, and we pop up and we both shoot him like 10 times each with our pistol.
I was very accurate too.
I feel like I was lighting him up
like
too.
On it, yeah.
And it took like almost our entire clip to kill him. And that's because the ammo that's inside of your clip has a low penetration level.
And he had armor.
And the person had armor, right? So you can get, different levels of penetration, level 2, 3, 4, whatever.
You always want high levels of penetration.
Always high penetration.
Oh, yeah.
But the better the ammo, the more money it costs, right? And you buy ammo per bullet. So sometimes you can spend, a ton of money just on getting ammo that you're automatically going to lose because you're going to shoot it. Right. So it's like, and if I go in with that ammo and it was expensive and I die before ever shooting the bullet,
Bye ammo.
there goes my ammo. It's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good.
So
here's your inventory screen. We can look at this.
Yeah. So it's brutal, man. But I think the reason why I'm into it so much is because it gives me, and I said this to Neo when we were playing, it amplifies the feeling that I had playing PUBG to another level, to another degree. Like I enjoyed PUBG, one, for the battle royale aspect of it, but also because of like the tension that I felt while playing it.
Yeah,
Engaging enemies is always a threat, and it's always like really high tension, which feels
people have
amazing.
the misunderstanding that this is a BR, and it doesn't.
Definitely not a BR.
It's not a BR. Yeah, because you don't have walls closing in or any of that shit.
No, there's none of that.
There's a timer. Like you have, usually 30 minutes to escape.
To get to your extraction point.
Right, but like you don't. It's not 99 players spawn in, the last one standing survives.
The most this reminds me of is the Dark Zone and the Division.
It has some aspects of that.
Yeah, you want to get out with the loot.
And I think it takes some stuff from DayZ as well.
Yeah.
The
realism. I would say it tries to emulate the realism aspect, which is cool.
Now, there's talks that, because right now there's 5 or 6 maps that you can spawn into. And when you look at the map selection screen, there's more to come. There's talks that when all the maps are complete, because Tarkov is the region, and then you're playing maps within Tarkov. The theory is that when the map is complete, you will just spawn into Tarkov and be able to move from customs to the next area all fluidly.
They're going to connect them.
Correct. That's what I've heard. But
that would be crazy.
We'll see.
That would make it very Metal Gear Solid 5 like, where the way that game works was. Did you play it?
I did not.
So that game kind of is a little bit like this. I'm using that really loosely, but what you do is you'll get a mission and you'll pick the gear you want to go into the mission with, and then you pick the point of the map of the mission you want the helicopter to take you to.
Right.
And then when you're done that mission, you get the thing, and then you get whatever stuff you're there for, kill
Right.
whoever you're there for, and then you call your extraction.
Got it.
And then you leave.
Right.
But the map's a big open map. Like, you can go anywhere on the map. Like, it's fully
five.
open.
You said 5, right?
5,
Yeah, I played a little bit of 5.
But this does have more of a realistic take on that. Like I love the system in Metal Gear Solid 5. Beautiful shooting system, beautiful stealth, all that good stuff. But this is just like that first person gameplay that it stands out in a different way.
It does.
You know?
Yeah, it does.
I might be conflating. Did you say this was a spiritual successor created by the people who created the game Stalker?
It is not. It's a Russian. This is a Russian developer.
Yeah. This gameplay's in Russian.
And I don't know if Stalker was by Russian developers.
Okay.
But no, it is not. It is not.
I was just wondering. And the second question is, do you feel that this game is adaptable to a console?
Never.
No, definitely not.
No.
It would end up being just like what PUBG feels like on console, probably.
Which is ass.
Which is garbage.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other reason being is this is a very small team of developers. Like, I think this is like a 10 to 15 person shop. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just keeping this game alive and its popularity for PC. They would need to be purchased by a major studio, and then maybe you would see a console.
No, I wasn't talking about from a business sense or like a production team sense.
Just like with the gameplay
I was
translate.
speaking, you play the game. Do you feel that it could be adaptable and still be as good of an experience or no?
Probably not. I mean, I don't think the PUBG experience on console is great in terms of the way that you have to navigate the menus and whatnot. And they would have to do the same thing with this, which is, I think the way that PUBG did it is the way that they would have to do it. And I'm sure people would buy it because the same thing happens. You have players that can only play on console for whatever reason. They watch a ton of this stuff because their favorite streamers are playing it. They'll definitely buy the game.
Yeah.
They would definitely buy into it because it's their only option. But in my opinion, this is a PC game through and through. Maybe one day.
No. I'm not saying I'm going to buy it or something like that. I was just
it's a good question.
You were just asking if it would ever come, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, so I'm excited to keep playing it and diving into it. The one thing that I will note, which I don't know if I mentioned to you, is we're near a server wipe too.
What?
So we don't want to. Right now, we just want to be learning the game.
Okay, all right. I'm like, oh man, I'm like getting all this stuff right now, and
what's a server wipe?
So
they're gonna reset everyone's progress.
Correct to what you get when you first buy the game. You don't start with nothing.
Did they say why they're doing that?
They do it often. I think it's to help with performance and
balancing.
Say
balancing,
and probably that too. Okay. In terms, I haven't looked deep into why they do it, but I know that it's been, I think, a while since the last server wipe. So I think someone was saying that they're expecting it to happen in March. So we're right around the corner.
Let's play and mess around with it.
But we're not even me who's played it, a handful more hours than you have. I don't have a whole lot. So like if we server wipe, it won't matter. Like it won't matter to me. I'm just having fun looting and playing.
When a server wipe happens, do you also lose like does the game have levels? For the
there is levels. Yep, and there's quests, and everything goes back to square one.
So it would server wipe even your level growth and everything,
which is beneficial because the flea market gets inflated, it gets abused. Like I was saying, Dr. Lupo, who has been maining this game for a while now, has like $80 million. So like if he was just able to keep doing that forever, it would be broken eventually, right? Like you get to a point in the game where you go past the need to worry about currency and stuff like that. So it keeps the realism alive even for those guys that no life the game. But
no life the game. Did you just say it that way?
Oh yeah.
I never
see
heard
that being
of
a no lifer.
I never
a game for
no life it.
You no life the game.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to keep playing.
I'm really intense. I'm no lifing life.
You're no lifing Fallout.
Fallout for sure.
I'm no lifing Fallout.